Now let him take the last one and we'll conclude it. Yes, Honorable Ahmed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the consent that was raised by Honorable former Minority Leader.
Honorable
Haruna Idrisu.
But if it has already been raised.
No, I'm referring you to.
Leader, if it has already been raised.
A directive that has been preached is what I'm referring you to. When we were passing the EC budget, the chair gave a directive that every quarter, the EC should come and meet Parliament and update us on the happening because it's a crucial year. We have ended 2 quarters. We are in the 3rd quarter. None of those meetings has taken place. And that is why I'm confirming that if next week will not be possible, it is not only EC. The Speaker, you remember when they wanted to pass a CI to make Ghana card a mandatory requirement for registration. Government promised releasing money to National Identification Authority. We invited them here too. The Speaker, those challenges have not been fixed. Ever since the EC abandoned the CI, Ghana card people have been left to stand alone. And we are waiting, allowing it as a time bomb. Then in 2028, when there is a CI that, oh, we should make Ghana card the sole mandatory document, then we'll be running again. If the EC is coming, whether Ghana card is going to be a mandatory requirement for registration or not, government must resource them to do the work. Ghana card is not just a political tool. Whether it is a mandatory document or not, we must resource them. So let's invite the EC together with the National Identification Authority people, just as we invited them. They should come and update us so that we'll be on the same page. So I think I'm saying this because the National Peace Council went and met the EC and they said 2028 Ghana card should be the sole mandatory document without hearing the version of Parliament. But we can bring both and listen to them and find a solution. That is one. Then the second point is the EC himself says sometimes she cries before she's giving money. So Parliament must intervene. So if we are not, yes, I'm telling you, it's a fact that I'm not taking the money for myself. I'm taking the money for Ghana work. That's what she said when she met the committee. So, Mr. Speaker, it is mandatory that this House must meet the Electoral Commission to make sure that whatever must be given to her is given. Put that one aside. Mr. Speaker, I share boundary with Bole Bamwe. He also shares boundary with Olatuna Kaba and Wa. The serial killing is on that stretch. We all share boundary with Cote d'Ivoire. So, Mr. Speaker, it's not just something that should be left to the next Interior Minister. Oh, when I get done, I will go there. Mr. Speaker, this can be a national something. And I think the Honorable Rashid Pepo has that problem. This is either serial killing or ritual killing. You cannot identify it. But there are killings. Some watchman will be sleeping. Somebody will go and break the head and kill him. These are the kind of killings that are going there. So if the Interior Minister can be called into a committee of the whole or into a closed sitting so that we may all be able to give out our best, how best can we track it? The Speaker, you answer boundary with him. There have been about 4 killings in Bole. What they say? But if you look at what is happening on that area, Mr. Speaker, there's a need for that calling. Then finally, Mr. Speaker, I've been here before. When you see the entire site empty, it calls you for something. No, Chief, I must help you. Mr. Speaker, now who is majority? We are majority. No, let's count. We are majority. You said that's what I want to say. We are majority. Mr. Speaker, government must bring government work, and government must make sure that government bench counts. And when government is making program, government must take into consideration that he's been given 4-year mandate to execute. As I speak to you, flag bearer is in north, running mate is in west, in the south. You are campaigning. The MPs are following you. Instead of coming to sit here to do government work, meanwhile you still have 4 months, 1 week to be in government. Who should do that work? You are thinking of breaking the 8 and not solving the problems. Mr. Speaker, this is serious. So the member did not just sound a caution. But Mr. Speaker, the Constitution must be respected. What I want to say is that, Mr. Speaker, I'm a deputy whip. My boss is here. The flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, must release the MPs to come to Parliament and work. The running mate, Dr. Metropoku Prampe, must release the MPs to come and work. Other than that, we will invoke Article 102 and 104 and raise quorum. The Constitution must be respected. You cannot be breaching the Constitution and seeking for renewal of mandate. We must be serious in this house. And Mr. Speaker, if that is not done, when they invoke the Constitution and call by 15%, we all came. So when the time comes and we invoke it, you must heed to our calling. We are saying this because you cannot trap us. We will come and sit here doing government work. You are roaming in our constituencies campaigning. Mr. Speaker, we may not be victims of that. And we mean serious business. If next week all the 138 are not here, Mr. Speaker, we will also sign leave of absence for members to also go and can be campaigning. Meaning you have open campaign. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity, I want to thank my good friend, the Majority Whip, for reading of the business statement. If he turns his back, you realize that he does not even have numbers to form a football team. He is so depleted, and this is not good for the country. And the call by Honorable Ahmed must be respected. Mr. Speaker, indeed, as we speak, government officials are working in our constituencies, sharing rice, sugar to people campaigning, and fertilizer, with MPs following the flag bearer and his running mate, when they are supposed to be here doing their work. And Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians don't want to see this. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank Honorable Boama. He made a very important statement that he called on the Minister of Roads to come and update the House on some of the road projects they are doing. Mr. Speaker, I think it's a very good thing. I also have few questions that require the attention of ministers. I can start with the Minister of Tourism. We have read that Dubois Center is being sold for 50 years. Whilst you are here, can you update us as to whether Dubois Center is being sold for 50 years?
Honorable.
Mr. Speaker,
He is here to answer questions.
No, so he can come back another time and answer the question.
Just ask the question.
Okay. So this is just a prompt. I'll put it. I'll ask it officially whether Dubois Center is being sold for 50 years. Then he can take the podium. No, not now. When you get the podium, you can answer the question. Mr. Speaker, I also want to
the hotels,
find out from
hotels.
If the road minister can come to the House, in addition to when he's coming, in addition to what the Honorable Obama has said, to find out from him that
Honorable Government, I don't understand what you are doing. You know.
Oh, in fact, Mr. Speaker, I'm doing exactly what Honorable Obama did by saying that the road minister should come and update us on that. So I'm saying that when he's coming, the road minister should also update us as to whether the $2.45 million that was paid to Motor Angels, whether the road minister would actually retrieve the money for us. When the road minister is coming, I also want to find out whether Mr. Speaker, no. Whether to find out from the road minister, Mr. Speaker, it's important that Dr. Bawumia promised that in January 2017, they are only going to build asphalt concrete roads. The road minister should have updated us on the amount, the length of concrete roads that have been built since 2017. Mr. Speaker, when the finance minister comes, just as Honorable Boama said, he should update us on the following: whether he's interested in retrieving the $2 million paid for SkyTrain. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, it's the same thing Honorable Boma did. I'm just adding to it, Mr. Speaker. Why is mine not acceptable?
You are a leader. We forget now. You are a leader.
What he did was very fantastic. I'm just adding a little bit to it, Mr. Speaker. Whether I want to ask from the finance minister that, Mr. Speaker, you and I approved for the building of Pullman Hotel, of which government is investing $25 million. If the finance minister can update the House, the progress of work of the Pullman Hotel, Mr. Speaker, on education, if the education minister comes, if he can update us that this year, how much they spent photocopying past questions for BEC, whether they have actually sent any money photocopying past questions.
Time is enough.
Speaker, it just left. Speaker, I thank you very much for your indulgence. I'm just left with only one.
Be mindful that you are a leader.
Mr. Speaker,
you don't dissent.
Oh, no, Mr. Speaker. Is it not important that we get updated by the things we approve in this House? Mr. Speaker, don't worry, Mr. Speaker. The ministers will be coming to update us on this thing. The last one I want to find out from the minister is this, that what is the new updated completion date for the National Cathedral? Because we know there was a start date and completion date. That's the only thing, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity.
Mr. Speaker.
Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity once more and to attempt to respond to the milieu of issues raised by colleagues. Speaker, let me start off from my good friend, the Chief Whip. Speaker, clearly the Chief Whip is on a frolic of his own. And interestingly, he is an important member of the Business Committee. He decides to come to the chamber and play to the gallery. He knows better, so maybe I won't go into the specific of the issues he raised. Speaker, the matter raised by my good friend, the honorable member for Bole, my sympathies go out there to him and the constituents. And I think I agree with him that we should find space to get the Minister for the Interior. And it relates to the same matter that was raised by Honorable Ahmed. Either closed sitting or committee of the whole, but preferably it should be closed sitting since it's related to security matters, so that it will be addressed. I'm sure that can easily be done. Attendance, and my colleague was very eloquent when he related to attendance on our side. What he should know is that it's a house. The house is both sides of the house. I don't want to go into the specific because there are times you are ready to do business and you are nowhere to be found. So, well, I've already cautioned that I don't want to go into specifics. There are times we are told you have to attend to court, and we have always deferred to you. So when you want to be fair, if my colleague Bole Bamboa member wants to be fair in showing regret in terms of attendance, let him also look at their side. So I think it's an issue that affects both sides of the house. So we cannot belabor the point. Then he related to loans. We have a power of oversight. We have a power of oversight. There are a number of committees, and the committees we know have huge powers. So go to your committee and work effectively there and work on your oversight. You can call the Minister of Finance to come and apprise the committee, and you can come up with a report and apprise plenary. So please, my good friend, you know what to do, and stay there and do that. Because we got Dr. Park expresses disappointment and hoping that leadership will walk our talk. We've often walked our talk. That's a fact. I recall the Minister of Education wrote officially to this House to request that his questions to be reprogrammed. And that was done. I recall a copy of that letter was submitted. I was copied in that letter. And your chief whip was also duly copied. So I don't think that is an issue. And he talks about the education sector of our country needs to be rescued. If there is anybody who has rescued the educational sector of our country, it's the new patriotic party government. If there is any government, as far as the history of this country is concerned, that has rescued our educational sector in terms of issues, is the new patriotic party. It's a new patriotic party. Now, we put the debate to a complete rest as to who initiated free SHS. It's at rest. The debate is at rest as to who initiated free SHS. It's at rest. So, my colleague Dr. Apak should get the fact. Speaker, I think our colleague Jonaba Ablakwa has a point. What I recall, the former Minister of Energy, Honorable Dr. Opoku Prempeh, attended upon this House. I was in the House then. He briefed us on happenings afterwards, the aftermath of the spillage. He gave us a detailed briefing. But I see your two issues. You raise issues related to the aftermath of the spillage, which I think he came to brief this House on. And then you are calling for a probe. You also said that you had even reached out to the Speaker, and that is not seeing the light of day. In this House, the Speaker has a final say on these matters. So probably we in leadership should get back to the Speaker for the appropriate advice. But I think you have a point, and we must all show sympathies to Honorable Ablakwa. On the resettlement, I am aware the Minister for Works and Housing will soon be in this House. If not next week, I'm sure, because I related personally. I have families who also live at Esunjaman and part of your constituency. And I'm not saying this because I have families there. It's because we have Ghanaians there and we must respond to them. He's going to announce a resettlement package. So probably we should be patient and wait for him on that. So this will be my response to Honorable Ablakwa, Honorable Dr. Park, and well, it's also the same response, because one is that the Speaker has the final say. And I'm surprised the Chief will be showing frustration. You are part of the business committee. Probably you should tell your member that you have failed in convincing the members of the business committee to program this particular business to be taken. Probably you should tell your member that you have failed as a member, as an important member of the business committee, to convince members of the business committee to program his business. What I'm saying is that
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Can I finish? The committee, it is not just the business committee that does that. It is not just the committee. Wait, be patient. Sit down. Just sit down. Let me finish. Speaker, it is not only the business committee that does that. And my colleague knows this so well. So relate well to your colleague that you have failed in convincing the business committee to program his business to be prosecuted. And don't come to the floor and behave as if you love your member more than any of us who are members of the business committee. But we'll relate to the Speaker. Speaker, on this matter, we'll relate to the Speaker and get appropriate advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to clarify, I have not failed at all. Mr. Speaker, the very first day the committee was set up after the motion was tabled and discussed, we provided the names of the people who should be on the committee. for the last 10 months, the side opposite has failed to provide names of the people who should be on the committee, because I'm beginning to suspect that they don't want the truth to be known by Ghanaians. So, Mr. Speaker, it is not your fault, it's not the fault of this side, but the fault of the side opposite, who are failing to provide. In fact, Mr. Speaker, if they provide the names now, we will form the committee right now. So I dare them to provide the names of the people they want to be on the committee right now, and we'll form the committee. If they fail to provide that, Mr. Speaker, then it is they who are shielding the wrongdoings at the cathedral site. A site we spend $58 million, the price tag of 3 fully furnished Agenda 111 hospitals in a whole. $58 million can build 3 fully equipped Agenda 111 hospitals, but you sank that money in a hole today.
Very well. Honorable members.
It's a hole. It's a deep hole.
Honorable members, leader, I want to respond.
First of all, my colleague who I work closely with, I see his anxiety. You can feel the anxiety on my skin. Practically trying to convince the Honorable Ablakwa that he has actually been doing something at the business committee. But it's not enough. Speaker, for all the times that you have directed that committee should be formed, such has been done. Let me give you just 2 examples. When we had to put together a committee to go on exploration investigation on Sangwini, there and there we formed it. When we had to put together a committee to work on members' pension, there and there we formed it. Both of us featured on that. Can he tell me the dates that we decided in this house to form a committee, and we on the majority side failed? We have never failed, and we will not fail.
Well, honorable members, leader, you mentioned something, that the committee to look into the welfare of members and former members.
I recall you were presiding.
Yes, I was presiding, and the directive was that the report should be submitted today.
Speaker,
I gave you 2 weeks.
The report is ready. My colleague will bear me out. The report is ready. We are looking at it. We are just giving a fine-tuning, and then the speaker will look at the report before we present. So we've scheduled to take it on Monday.
Very well. Honorable members, the business statement has been read to us. It has been thoroughly discussed and is hereby adapted to work with next week.
Mr. Speaker, I wasn't going to stop you. I just want to add to what he said. It's true. You were the one who was in the chair when the directive was made on the welfare.
Yes.
And incidentally, you were the one in the chair the day we formed. We actually debated the motion on the National Cathedral, and you directed. So just remind him that just as you directed and we formed the committee on the members' welfare, he should do same with the committee on National Cathedral.
Very well.